Fall is about on us real quick. I just wanted to put a video up about how I feel about this year's so-called summer blockbuster movies that came out this year. But I say the actual winner this year is Warner Brothers. I think Warner Brothers did a good year this year. They came out with Sinners. I think they had Minecraft, Final Destination. Uh, they had Weapons. And I liked all those movies. I think it was Sinners, Minecraft, Weapons, Superman. Uh, Warner Brothers rocked this year. Uh, so I just thought I'd just give you a quick update about how I have to say I'm not real disappointed about this year because I don't look at movies that way. I just go for the enjoyment of going seeing a movie and stuff like that. So I'm just not that type of a movie type of goer. But I was just thinking that Warner Brothers is the actual, winner this year. They did real good this year. I mean, I went and seen Sinners. I loved it. Still the best. I say them. I say that and Weapons is the best movie of 2025 to me. Um, I didn't go see Minecraft, but that's Warner Brothers. F1 did good, and that's a Warner Brothers Apple thing, I believe. So Warner Brothers is rocking, man. I mean, they are rocking, man. I mean, you know. And far as movies this year and how I feel about the box office, not really into that. Uh, I think that Marvel and Disney, they had Lilo and Stitch, but I wasn't really into Lilo and Stitch. So I know my son went and seen it with his kids, my youngest son and his wife. They said they enjoyed it, but uh, Marvel and Disney. I think the only thing Disney did have is I think they had one movie that did good. I don't know which one that was. It might be Lilo and Stitch. I think Lilo and Stitch might have made $1 billion, but that's the only one. But Fantastic Four didn't do that good. Uh, it just I think people are just for me, I'm gonna speak for myself. I'm afraid of what I'm gonna go see, man. When I go in and see a Marvel movie, uh, I'm tired of men being portrayed as weak, and they kind of portray us like we're kind of dumb, especially when they put us up against a woman. And I don't like that. When I was a little kid, I never seen too much of that stuff. I seen women and men kind of play off each other, but nothing to this magnitude. Like, you know, uh, where it just makes men look so weak and so like they're just complete. It's hard to explain, but I'm just afraid of what I'm going to see when I go watch a Marvel movie. And Star Wars hasn't done nothing in a while, so they got that new Star Wars movie coming out with, the one with the Mandalorian with the little Yoda, baby Yoda. I ain't gonna go see that. I'm not gonna go see that at all. I might go see that new one that they're working on, that one that Patty Jenkins was supposed to be doing. But I just it's been a good year for Warner Brothers. It's just a quick video I just wanted to put up about how I feel about this year. Now, for me, it's not been a bad year, but I don't think it's been a blow your mind type of year, though. You know what I mean? I don't think it's one of those where it blows your socks off. Now, if we had some, years past, we had some killer years where, it just seemed like they was just bam, 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 putting out some bangers, man. But I just wanted to put a quick video up that I I was just looking at. This is the last day of August, and then September's right around the corner. Then you got fall. I think fall's in September, if I ain't mistaken. So I think it's the third week of September. I could be wrong, but I know fall's upon us, and then we got October and stuff. So um, it just seems like a lot of your smaller movies is what did good to me. I'm still jacked up to go see uh, The Conjuring Last Rite. I'm gonna go see that. I was supposed to go see that with my daughter, but I haven't heard from her for a while. So if I don't hear from her, very shortly. I'll just go by myself. I think that's a Warner Brothers. We're gonna see how that does. I think that'll make about maybe $38 million opening weekend or something like that. I'm saying about 32, 38. Depends, you know. But that comes out, and then you got the Black Phone 2 comes out. I'm gonna go see that. And I've been really watching a lot of movies that are not like super uh, uh, like high budgeted movies, and I've been very pleased with them. You know, Sinners didn't cost that much, but it cost a little bit more than Weapons. Weapons didn't cost that much, but then Weapons did good, and Sinners did good, and they all made their money back. All of them made their money back. So uh, it's kind of weird, man, because I did go see. Now I ain't gonna lie, a lot of people didn't like Megan. Oh yeah, I think no, Universal is the one that made Jurassic World Rebirth. I'm gonna check for that real quick. Yeah, so I just checked. I enjoyed Jurassic World Rebirth, and I know a lot of people got mixed reviews about. Got mixed. It's a dinosaur movie. Damn, yeah, that kills me, man. People just, oh, it's just I enjoyed the movie. I actually bought that movie, and I actually watched it again just to see if I was over not thinking right, and I could see it there. But I watched it and I enjoyed the movie. But that one's produced by Amblin Entertainment. But I know Warner Brothers had something to do with the previous ones. But anyway, back to Warner Brothers. I'm just saying that I think Warner Brothers had a really good year. Now, especially with Minecraft, Sinners, Weapons, Superman. They helped produce. They went in with Apple with F1 with uh, you know that actor that I can't think of his name, but y'all know who I'm talking about. But anyway, Warner Brothers kicked some butt. But anyway, I'm looking forward to watching The Conjuring, which is by Warner Brothers. I'm looking forward to seeing uh, the Black Phone. Now I don't know who's producing Black Phone. And then that's not And I ain't gonna lie, I enjoyed the movies that I watched, all of them. Even though 28 years later, uh, that one's all over the place. I have to admit, when I watched that movie, I have to admit, man, I said to myself, walking out of that theater, I said to myself, a lot of people ain't gonna like this movie. For me, I was like, it was all right, cause I don't. And nothing. Do you guys like going to the movies by yourself? Man, I find it no problem walking in the movies by myself, seeing movies. I know sometimes people, you know, have issues going by themselves, and I don't know why. That's what a movie theater is there for. I don't know, man. I used to go to movies when I was a little boy because I grew up in a little small town, and my mom, she had some money. I used to run downtown that little town, and I'd just go see a movie, and I'd sit in there, man, and watch a movie. I was so excited. So it's still the little boy in me that, when I go see a movie, and I jump in my car and I go to Cinemark or something like that, man, or, one of these, theaters that's like, I go to this, I live in Ohio. Sometimes I go to Columbus and once in a while Cincinnati, not too much, but my daughter, she knows all the theaters in Cincinnati, so those IMAX theaters are pretty fantastic. So, but anyway, I'm just asking you guys. You guys enjoyed a lot of movies this year. I just thought I'd throw a quick video up. I was just sitting here reading some scriptures, and I was sitting here saying, "Man, this is the last day of August, and tomorrow's September, and you guys enjoy your holiday tomorrow. Be safe out there." But it's been an okay year for me. It's been an okay year for me. You know, I'm just, I just think, Disney and Disney and Marvel's gonna have to figure out, they got their hands full. They're gonna have to try to win us back. That's the best way I can say it. They win us back because when it comes to a Star Wars and a Marvel movie, I'm always skeptic about going. I just don't like men looking so weak and dumb. That's just me. And I don't like women being so overpowering and stuff. But at the same time, I don't really have nothing against women actors and all this kind of stuff. But it's just that sometimes I watch these movies, I'm like, man, what's going on here? It's just, man, dudes are not that. I don't know. They make men look like imbeciles or something like that. Sometimes it's hard to explain. So, you know, but far as me to get on the Marvel is messed up and Star Wars messed up, I'm not singing that song because that song has been sung a lot on YouTube. I am very skeptic about watching a Marvel movie, especially with all the crap they put out. Uh, I'm not gonna lie, I enjoyed Thunderbolts a lot. I enjoyed it a lot. I own that, and that was from word of mouth. I just kept hearing good people say, "Man, that Thunderbolts wasn't too bad." And I kept hearing and I kept hearing. A guy at work come up to me and says, "Hey man, my friend said he went and seen Thunderbolts." And he said he really liked it. I said, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Man, I keep hearing that, man." He said, "Yeah." He said, "I keep hearing it too." Because me and him, he didn't want to go and I didn't want to go. And he asked me, well, I said, "No, man, I ain't seeing that." I said, "It's probably going to be whatever." And so we didn't go see it. And then I asked him, I went to work. I asked him, did him and his wife go see it? And he said, no, he decided not to go see it. So me and him both bought it. And our movies were coming in on the same day. He ordered it from Amazon. I ordered mine from Amazon. No, he picked this up at Walmart. I had mine come in from Amazon. So I watched it and he watched it and he completed it. I fell asleep, so I had to finish it. He said, "Did you watch Thunderbolts?" I said, "No, man, I fell asleep." I said, "I'm gonna finish it." And he goes, "I like the first 45 minutes. After that, I didn't care for it." I said, "Well, don't tell me uh, about the conclusion." I said, "Ryan, I'm not." His name is Ryan. I said, "I have not finished it. I fell asleep. I'm gonna finish it when I get off work today. I'm gonna work out, take a bike ride, fix something to eat." I said, "When I settle down and eat, I'll finish it." So I finished it. So I'm going by what Ryan says. He says, "Oh man, the first 45 minutes was cool, but after that it just went downhill." So I'm watching it, and I'm waiting. I'm watching after what Ryan said. That's the only thing he said. I told him I didn't want him to spoil it. Cause I said, "Well, don't tell me." I said, I'll judge for myself." So I'm waiting. So I'm looking at the clock. I said, "Well, I'm past 45 minutes because I knew where I fell asleep at, right?" So I'm sitting there, man, and I'm watching it. I'm watching it. I'm watching it. And I get to the end. And I say, "Okay, Ryan, where is it that it fell apart in the last 40, the first 45 minutes were okay, but where did it fall apart?" So I go to work next day. He walks by me. He didn't say nothing. He walks by me again. Now I'm in this very back of the shop. And he walked back there. He goes, "Well, did you watch it?" And I said, "Yep." And I said, "And I liked all of it." And he just walked away. I didn't care for it. I said, "Well, Ryan, I get you, man." I said, "I get you." I said, "We both bought it. You liked first 45 minutes of it. I liked it." I said, "Now, is it one of those blow your mind type of movies?" No. I said, "Overall, Ryan, I enjoyed the movie." So, Marvel kind of surprised me with Thunderbolts, man. So, I heard good stuff about Fantastic Four, but I'll most likely see if I can get that as a sale. See if I can catch it on a sale on a Black Friday or something, because I heard it was decent. But anyway, you guys enjoy your Sunday. I just wondering how you feel about summer of 2025. Are you okay with what you seen? Do you like what you seen, or did you figure it was like if I had to rate, I'd say it was above average. But if I rate on the Victor scale, which my name is Victor, if I rated on the Victor scale, it'd be all right on the Victor scale, because I ain't gonna lie, I went and seen Megan, and I enjoyed Megan, and everybody don't like Megan. I get it. And a lot of people didn't like the first Megan. I love the first Megan. Now, was this, you know what? Scratch that, rewind, go back. So I watched Megan the other day, Megan 2.0. I had to actually sit down, and I decided to watch it. And I said, on one of these digital platforms. So I'm sitting there and I'm watching it. And I sit there and I went like this. I started laughing. I started laughing at certain things in that movie. So after it was over with, I sit in my living room, like this same living room right here, this TV behind me back here, and I went like this. Like, I must be one of the ones that just can't see what everybody else is seeing because I like Megan 2.0. Now, I might be the minority in that case. Also, 28 years later, man, I ain't gonna lie. I remember walking out of the theater and I said to myself, man, people ain't gonna like this movie. They're gonna be mad because they was all hyped up, jacked up, and you know, I will admit that movie. To this day, I can't figure out why I like that movie, because technically I shouldn't. And every time I watch that movie, I remember watching. I kept saying that I really should not like this movie. And even now, I'm on this camera talking to you. I'm trying to sit there and go like, why is it that I like this movie? Why is it that, in spite of all its little, what I even seen, should I even like this movie? And I still like 28 years later. So, but 28 years later, and Megan 2.0 are not in the what you call the list of But far as me though, I enjoyed Megan 2.0. After watching it twice, I enjoyed Megan 2.0 because I bought it digital. And 28 years later, I don't know why I like that movie. I'm not sitting there saying it's. I don't know why I like the movies I like. I seem to like movies that most people don't like. You know what I mean? So anyway, how you guys feel about 2025? You think it was average, below average, or just like, it was all right, you know? And how many movies did you go see? Did you go see a lot of movies? I did. I went and seen Megan 2.0. I seen 28 Years Later. I went and seen Jurassic World Rebirth, which I thoroughly enjoyed. Then again, you know, everybody's different. Because a lot of people didn't care for, you know, I talked to this young chick, man. This chick's only 21 years old. She said, I went and seen that Jurassic World Rebirth. She said she got up and left. I said, you did? She goes, yeah. I said, you really did? She goes, yeah. I said, wow. I said, I really liked it. And then she stood there and she was looking at me and she just, you know, because she's a young chick. And I sit there and I said, you know, I think I like that movie because they had their hands full. And she looked at me. I said, now think about this. I said, they had their hands full going behind Chris Pratt. I said, now, Chris Pratt's last movie, a lot of people said they didn't like that his very last movie. A lot of people said they didn't like it at all, but it made all $1 billion worth. She goes, it did? I said, yeah. I said, and then the one, she said she liked the one where they were on the island. Well, no, that was another girl at work. She said that she didn't watch the one where they were on the island rescuing the dinosaurs. That made $1 billion. The first one made $1 billion. So I was telling her, I said, we was at the shop. And like I said, she's some young chick. I said, so you got to understand, man. I said, they had a whole different cast. I said, Scarlett Johansson had her hands full. She had to come behind Chris Pratt and then Mahershala Ali, and then they had all those other actors. I don't know their names. And I said, they had to come up. And then the guy had to make that movie at a certain time. I said, he had a certain length of time to get that movie out for the summer. And she goes, really? I said, yeah. I said, so I think for me, I think that's why I liked it due to the fact that I thought for what they had to work with and for what length of time that guy had to, the guy that was behind, had the responsibility of trying to get that movie put out. I said, that's why I think I like that movie. I said, for him to throw a movie together like that, especially coming behind Chris Pratt's movies, and then Scarlett Johansson had her hands full being the lead actress and stuff like that. I said, I always liked Scarlett Johansson, so I like Mahershala Ali, and I said there was a couple other people I liked in there. I said I didn't dislike anybody in that cast. I think that's why I liked the movie. I said, plus I did like the fact that they really went different with that movie. And I said, plus in the day, I said I like dinosaurs. I said so. And she goes, well, you know, she 21-year-old chick. She goes, well, I can see what you're saying. She goes, but I just walked out. I said, no, so you got your own opinion. I get what you're saying, but I said, I'm just giving you my version of it. I said, you know, you're going to come behind three $1 billion Chris Pratt movies. All three of them made $1 billion. First one made $1 billion. Second one made $1 billion. I said, and the third one made $1 billion. I said, but when you look back, a lot of people did not care for that last one that Chris Pratt went out. I said, they made $1 billion. And I said, people can talk and complain about all they want. I said, but you know, the end result is it made $1 billion. And Scarlett Johansson's, you know, and Mahershala Ali and all them, this Jurassic World Rebirth, it's almost at $900 million. I think it's at $870 million right now as we speak. That's a lot of moolah. And so, and the way they had to come up with a different story and the way they had to come behind Chris Pratt's movies, I think that's a pretty much encompassing. So anyway, guys, enjoy your holiday tomorrow. God bless. And I just thought I'd ask you guys, how was your summer 2025? And what are you looking forward to? You know, I'm in Avatar's coming in Christmas. It ought to do good. You know, a lot of people don't care for those Avatar movies. They said it's just Fern Gully and all that kind of stuff, and it's just, you know, you had the water movie and you had the now you got the fire movie coming up, and then you had the one about the trees or something like that. And then some people said it kind of reminds me of the Cowboys and Indians. So I don't know. I just think James Cameron knows how to film stuff. So I'm in the nowhere camp when it comes to that. I got the first two Avatars, so I'll go get this one when it comes out physical. I hope this one does good. James Cameron, you can't count him out. So anyway, you guys have a great rest and enjoy your holiday tomorrow. But at the end of this video, Warner Brothers is the true winner of 2025. Just thought I'd put that out there. Warner Brothers is the true winner of 2025. So anyway, God bless and be safe out there, and we'll catch you in the next video. Peace.